Eisenhower, a man who was excessively glorified by America, is a figure who always appeared with the aura of a five-star general and a renowned president, but in reality, his rise to such a high position was largely due to luck before World War II began. Eisenhower had never participated in any battle at the age of 49. He was still serving as an assistant to MacArthur in the Philippines with a career that seemed to be ending quietly after an argument with MacArthur. Eisenhower decided to request a transfer back to the U.S. What's interesting is that right after he returned, Japan and the U.S. officially went to war, while MacArthur was struggling to deal with the Japanese forces in the Philippines. Eisenhower was unexpectedly trusted by Secretary of War Marshall and given a mission to North Africa to assist the British against the Desert Fox. George Marshall thought that Eisenhower had experience from his time in the Philippines, but in reality what Eisenhower did there was smoke cigars chat with MacArthur and learn how to fly an airplane. Sending someone who had never commanded a battle like Eisenhower to face a seasoned general like Rommel was truly a gamble, the result of the first battle within just 2 days. Eisenhower lost 6,000 soldiers and 100 tanks to the German forces to salvage the situation. He blamed the frontline commanders and replaced them with General Patton. However, Eisenhower's luck continued when the German commander unexpectedly pulled Rommel out of North Africa 7 months later, which weakened the German forces there and led to their complete defeat. Although this victory was mostly unrelated to Eisenhower, he still took all the credit, praising himself for defeating the Desert Fox, even Patton. Patton was also frustrated by Eisenhower's shamelessness, but as a superior, Eisenhower had no qualms about taking the credit. The reports about the victory made the American leadership believe that Eisenhower truly had talent. When discussing the Overlord campaign to land in Romania, the leaders initially intended for Marshall to command. However, Marshall believed that the opportunity should go to the younger generation, and the chosen one was none other than Eisenhower, the commander, who always seemed to have luck on his side. When Eisenhower took office, less than 2 months later, General Shilin unexpectedly passed away. This left President Harry S. Truman, who had always aspired to surpass Shilin, unable to understand why Shilin had to wait until after his term to pass away. But in fact, great leadership is not just one individual. When one person is gone, another will rise after taking office. Eisenhower did not rush to confront the new Soviet leader, Nikita Khrushchev, but focused on removing the powerful leaders within his own party. Joseph, a powerful figure in the Republican Party who had openly called Truman a bastard at that time, Joseph was a powerful figure with half of the senators on his side. He could eliminate anyone he wanted. In the context of the Cold War, the anti-Soviet wave in the U.S. was rising when 2 Soviet spies were caught. Joseph seized the opportunity to accuse anyone he suspected of being a Soviet spy, even innocent people, including George Marshall, the former Secretary of War. Marshall was the one who helped Eisenhower rise from an unknown officer to a 5-star general in World War II. He was Eisenhower's greatest benefactor, however, because he was running for president. Eisenhower didn't dare to cross Joseph, so he remained silent, not defending Marshall, just watching his benefactor being slandered after becoming president. Eisenhower swore to bring down Joseph to clear Marshall's name. In 1954, Joseph went too far when he accused the U.S. military of being full of Soviet spies. Eisenhower and the military decided to fight back, leading to an 8-week war of words between the two sides. In the end, the military exposed all of Joseph's private secrets, almost openly revealing that he was gay and supported his boyfriend. Joseph lost the lawsuit, lost his power, and was eliminated, helping Eisenhower take revenge for his benefactor. However, while Eisenhower could take down Joseph with accusations, dealing with Khrushchev was not so easy. Khrushchev, who rose from the Soviet Union full of tough leaders, was not an easy opponent to test Khrushchev's strength. Eisenhower proposed that both sides exchange aerial photos, not about their military bases, but Khrushchev immediately refused, not only because he doubted the authenticity of American photos, but also because he had no reason to play this game with Eisenhower. Annoyed, Eisenhower decided to use the latest reconnaissance plane to secretly photograph Soviet bases. As a result, the American plane was immediately detected to secretly photograph Soviet bases. As a result, the American plane was immediately detected at that time. Khrushchev was attending a party at the U.S. Embassy and had to hear that the U.S. was playing dirty by photographing secretly. This made Khrushchev angry, and he complained that if they continued like this, there would be no fun in drinking anymore. When Khrushchev came to power in the Soviet Union, he had hoped to cooperate with Eisenhower to build a friendly relationship. However, Eisenhower secretly carried out espionage activities and secretly sent the most modern U-2 reconnaissance planes to photograph Soviet military bases when they were detected. Eisenhower not only did not admit it, but also loudly warned Khrushchev not to retaliate, threatening that if the Soviet Union responded, it would be seen as an act of war in this situation. Khrushchev began to study the type of missile that could shoot down U-2 planes. By October 1957, the Soviet Union unexpectedly successfully launched the first artificial satellite, Sputnik, which was believed to have the ability to provide coordinates for any spot on U.S. soil to support missile targeting. This success shocked the United States as they realized they were falling behind the East. Eisenhower was furious, blaming American experts and demanding that they create a satellite superior to the Soviet Union's. But America's first first attempt failed when the satellite just hopped a bit and then died. Eisenhower had to increase funding for research, and after 4 months, America's second satellite was finally launched successfully. The arms race between the U.S. and the Soviet Union officially began with a series of advanced technologies being researched. However, this race also enriched weapon manufacturers in the U.S. When Eisenhower realized that the military was increasingly abusing its power and ramping up weapon production for profit, he decided to find a way to cool down the relationship with Khrushchev to prevent this. Khrushchev didn't want to confront, he was willing to de-escalate. To make peace, all signs indicated that the Cold War was about to end, but just as peace talks were approaching, Eisenhower caused trouble when he ordered once again to spy on Soviet territory, with U-2 planes, ironically, on the very day. Khrushchev announced plans to cut 1 million troops to demonstrate goodwill for peace. An American U-2 reconnaissance plane violated Soviet airspace and was shot down by a missile. This incident left Khrushchev deeply confused. At first, he thought it was an unauthorized action by the U.S. Department of Defense, and even tried to protect Eisenhower, calling him a good friend. Eisenhower immediately seized this opportunity, instructing the State Department to present the scenario that the U-2 plane had an oxygen failure causing the pilot to lose consciousness, and the plane accidentally entered Soviet airspace, hoping the incident would be seen as an accident and both sides would continue peace talks. But the American pilot survived and couldn't endure the interrogation and confessed that the reconnaissance mission was personally directed by Eisenhower. Feeling insulted, Eisenhower apologize and provide a reasonable explanation. However, for national honor, Eisenhower refused to apologize and admit he was behind the incident. As a result, Khrushchev became enraged, canceled the peace talks, and declared to continue confrontation, bringing the Cold War back.